Welcome back, gamers, and we've got a little bit of some breaking news here, and I just want to say, if this is what I think it is, I think it's pretty exciting. So Gun has tweeted their first tweet that is not related to Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Friday the 13th or Halloween in a very long time. I scrolled back like 5 years and legitimately could not find a tweet that was not related to one of their 3 games, or a tweet that wasn't related to like an award or something along those lines. And anyway, this is the tweet. It is Werewolf Watch Party, and they're quote tweeting Bloody Disgusting, who is talking about the upcoming Robert Eggers film Werewolf. And I saw this, it genuinely was like, oh my gosh, did Gun just like straight up tease what their next game is going to be? Werewolf doesn't come out for a little bit, but why would Gun be doing this? It just feels a little too precise, or unless it was a mistake and it was supposed to come from a personal account or something, who knows? But it feels very deliberate in my opinion, and I think it's worth noting. We already have the history from, I don't remember when this happened, but last year at some point, where Gun had copyrighted the Scout Dracula name and a couple associated images with that. And Dracula officially goes, I thought it was public domain, but I believe it officially goes public domain in 2027 along with Frankenstein's monster. Werewolf, I believe, currently is public domain, among others such as The Mummy, Invisible Man, etc. All those kind of universal monsters for the most part are public domain, and Nosferatu kind of falls into there as well. There's a couple differences between him and Dracula, but with all copyright stuff it gets a little tricky, but for the most part a lot of them are public domain or going to be very, very soon. And this just seems like maybe Gun is saying, hey, if you like this werewolf movie, keep your eyes on us, more or less, for that to kind of coincide with the Scout Dracula name that we saw a while ago. And who knows, maybe Gun is taking the, I don't want to say the smart route, but the safe route, and they're going with an quote-unquote IP that is, not it's fair game for the most part. They can't get in trouble, they can't get hung up. They would be essentially free to, play with their own sandbox of these characters and use them and adjust them, tweak them to fit whatever they, want to do with the universal monsters. And I just think, honestly, I think it's a good idea. We've seen some other games come out that have used universal monsters. A lot of these, either will get copyright claimed, or they have to be drastically adjusted to the point where it's not kind of true to what the character was anymore. There's a couple fighting games that have done that, and still very cool at the end of the day. But I think if Gun wants to use these characters and make a game with them, I think that would be awesome. Who knows exactly what style of game that would be. It could still be an ASIM where you have these different monsters that you can play as, going after your hero characters, your victims, whatever. And yeah, who knows? Or maybe they lock in straight to the werewolf side of it, and you have a kind of a social deduction type game where everyone spawns in and one person is the werewolf, or multiple people are the werewolf. A la Town of Salem, who knows? I think there's lots of routes they could go with this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Maybe this tweet is genuinely just someone at Gun's like, hey, Robert Eggers is cool. He made a Nosferatu, last year or whatever. He did The Witch a couple years ago, and we like his movies. Maybe that's literally all it is, but I'm gonna read into it a little deeper and say that I think we should keep an eye on this. So that's all I have to say about that. What do you think? Do you think there's a legitimate chance that Gun rolls with the Universal Monster theme, or werewolf specifically? Or is it just, is it nothing? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and that's all I have for today. Thank you all for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.